Welcome to the Black and Gold Blitz on FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. I'm Jeff Fiddle. Follow me on the X at FitHappens. So much to get into today. By the way, go download the app. It's for free. It's free on Android and Apple, for Android and Apple users. The FanStream Sports app. Round-the-clock programming, so many different things. We're adding new programming all the time, especially now with all the news all the time going on with the Steelers and other football news as well. So make sure you download the app and check that out. Go to FanStreamSports.com as well. And the FanStream Sports Facebook page. You can go there and join that, interact with hosts and also fans of the shows. So the Wrath of Khan, I'm sure it's never been used before. The Wrath of Omar Khan, though, is being felt right now across the NFL after this draft. The front office killed it at the draft in Detroit that just wrapped up on Saturday. The 2024 draft picks for the Steelers, Troy Fautanu, the offensive guard from Washington in the first round, number 20 overall, Zach Frazier, the center from West Virginia in the second round, Roman Wilson, the wide receiver, third overall out of Michigan, Peyton Wilson, linebacker, NC State, Mason McCormick, guard from South Dakota State, Logan Lee, who is a defensive tackle from Iowa, and then finally Ryan Watts, cornerback from Texas, gets in there. Fautanu, look, he played guard, but I think he's going to play tackle in the NFL for the Steelers. And the Steelers, really, they shored up this offensive line in this draft. A phenomenal draft for Ohio State. He fell a little further than I think people thought he would. Guys like Mel Kiper loved this pick for Pittsburgh. I loved it for Pittsburgh as well. Just the fact that the three of the first five selections were all offensive linemen for this team. And, look, some teams have done this thing lately where they say, okay, you got to get a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract and then build around that player when you've got the cheaper contract for the rookie quarterback. There's been a lot of teams that have subscribed to that theory. Rookie contract, build around that while you still can, while you get the quarterback cheap, and add all the talent to make a run. Steelers went the kind of different on that. They are building in the offensive line while they're on rookie contracts, and they brought in a couple of cheap quarterbacks with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And neither one is guaranteed to be here next year. Fields' fifth-year option won't get picked up. So, but one of them should be the quarterback in 2025. One of these two, I would think. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. So they are building around that way with the offensive line and putting the resources into that as far as draft capital goes, pay them on lesser scales, and then build up everything else around that, which is genius, and it's key for the Steelers team. And they've identified that as a strategy they need to employ. And I love it. I think it's going to work out really well for Pittsburgh there. Looking now, if you look at the offensive line, what they've done here, look, all three of these guys, the first three guys they drafted, the first three offensive line they drafted, could all start this year. I don't think all three will, but you figure you got Broderick Jones from last year. He turns 23 years old in May this year. You've got Troy Fautanu, he's going to turn 24 in October. Hard to believe he's older than Broderick Jones. Zach Frazier, who's an interior offensive lineman, great center. He turns 23 in August. Mason McCormick turns 24 in May, and James Daniels 27 in September. Now, like I said, I don't think that he is going. I don't think McCormick's going to start this season. He'll be a key backup though for this team. But the offensive line is so much better than it was just a couple of years ago, and they've got depth now. And they've got opportunities to grow with this team. Can't wait to see how this plays out. And very underrated strategy by Omar Khan. Another thing, look, the Roman Wilson pick, who comes over from Michigan, I like that pick quite a bit as well. Wilson is, first of all, he's a little small. Okay, he's not that big. He's only, I think, around 5'10", maybe 185 pounds or so. And but he's got speed. He's a fast guy. He's got just under 4.4 speed, 4.39 I think is what he tested out as. And he's very solid with his hands. He doesn't drop many passes. And he's going to be a fantastic addition to this to go on George Pickens. I think Wilson automatically steps in to be the number 2 receiver now. And look at how much speed they have now. You got guys like Van Jefferson, who they added, very fast. Quez Watkins also. Calvin Austin's still on the team. And then Pickens might be the slowest of the bunch. And so there are plenty of weapons there. The Steelers have got this offensive line. It looks like it's figured out now for them as far as, so they're going to run the ball a lot this year. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren should have a lot more success this year. Fields or Wilson or Fields, whoever ends up being the quarterback, should also have plenty of time to throw the ball. I think Freiermuth is going to have a big year this year. This Steelers team is set up to have a really good year in the AFC North this year. I like them better than the Browns. I like them better than the Ravens. The Bengals, if they're healthy, will be a threat. But the Steelers, to me, they're a top 2 team in the AFC North, and they're a playoff team again with the roster as constructed. We'll see if they make any other additions in free agency or what happens. God forbid injuries don't hit this team. One other thing to keep in mind, though, they got Cordell Patterson. He was with Atlanta the last few years, and he came into the league, you remember, as a wide receiver for the Vikings, and then transitioned to be a running back and still a kick returner extraordinaire. So he is somebody who won't get a lot of touches within the offense, or shouldn't get a lot of touches within the offense. Still a threat out of the backfield to catch passes a little bit. Didn't catch a lot of passes the last couple of years, but really he is going to be big in the return game. With these new rules that they have now, let's go back the other way here. With the old kickoff rules, where almost everything was a touchback. The last 3 years, he's only returned 34 kicks for Atlanta. Only 16 over the last 2 years. He's their main kick return guy. So 34 kick returns over the last 3 years for Patterson. And in the last 3 years. And he's averaged, though, 25.6 yards per return. Pretty impressive there. And he's got 9 career kick returns for touchdowns. So if you remember what the new rules are going to be here with the kickoffs, where you're going to have the teams are going to be like 5 yards apart from each other, down around the 35-yard line is where it is, and then no one can move until the returner either catches the ball, touches the ball, or it hits the ground. And there's no fair catches. So you can't all of a sudden just let the ball drop and call a fair catch and get it out at the 25 or whatever. So it's going to force more returns. That's where Patterson's going to play a huge role in that. And he should get a lot of opportunities to return kicks this year. And he's bound to break one and go for a touchdown this year again, because that is what he does. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen there, we've got the opponents for 2024. The schedule's not out yet. We'll be out in May. We'll find out what happens there. In addition to the 3 games they've got against divisional opponents, they get Dallas at home, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Giants, and the Jets. The Dallas thing, I'm not sure how tough that will be. We'll see how Dallas plays, but the KC game obviously will be a marquee game when they come to Pittsburgh. Always great to see Mahomes and see how Pittsburgh can measure up against Kansas City. Remember Kansas City, obviously the defending Super Bowl, 2-time defending Super Bowl champion. If you look at their road games, they've got the 3 division games, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, but also the Falcons, much improved Falcons team. Denver, Indianapolis, they've got Anthony Richardson back. You've got Vegas making their change, but who the hell knows who their quarterback will be. Philadelphia, again, another stud team. And Washington should come in with a rookie quarterback probably under center there. But this Steelers defense looks stout again. The offensive line looks good again. This is the most excited I've been about a Steelers team in a long time going into the season. So I know we've still got plenty of time before the season actually kicks off. We'll keep an eye out for more news with the Steelers. But this has been the Black and Gold Blitz. Thanks so much for tuning in. Follow me on the X @FitHappens. And again, go download the app. It's free for Apple and Android users both. Check that out, and we'll talk to you soon.